Alright, so now let's look at the data analysis process. There's 6 steps to looking at data and getting the results that you want. The first step is understanding the nature of the problem. It's important to have a clear direction before going to gather your data. You don't want to just going off blindly looking for a needle in a haystack. You're going to know exactly where that needle is. Second, you want to decide what to measure and how to measure it. It's very important to carefully define variables to be studied and to develop appropriate methods to determine their values. If you don't collect it the right way, you're not going to be able to get the information that you need. Third, you just want to collect the data. It's important to understand how data is collected because the type of analysis that is appropriate depends on how the data was collected. If you don't do it correctly, you can't get the correct data. Fourth, you want to summarize the data and perform preliminary analysis. The initial analysis provides insight into important characteristics of the data. You might be able to find something that you're looking for with it. Fifth, you want to perform formal analysis. It's important to select and apply the appropriate inferential statistical methods. If you don't do the right things, you're not going to get the right results. And lastly, you want to be able to interpret the results. This step often leads to the formulation of new research questions. So just because you have all the data collected does not mean you're done. You're looking for new things to use this data on. Now, let's talk about the differences about what you're looking for and how you get the data. First off, let's talk about the population. So, the population is the entire collection of individuals or objects about which the information is desired. And you usually are going to do a census to collect all this data for the entire population. Okay. So, the problem with the census is, one, it takes a lot of time. You gotta ask every single person that you're trying to get from the population. You can't leave a single person out. If you leave a single person out, you don't have the information that you're gonna need. If one person's out, you've got inaccurate data. If you ask the person twice, it's also inaccurate data. Missing data is the same thing. If you don't have it from a person, it invalidates the census because you don't have the population. And just think about how much money it costs. The U.S. government does a census every 10 years. It costs them millions and millions of dollars just to get the information. And do you think they actually get every single person that lives in the United States? Probably not. So, more often, there's an alternative for this. So the alternative is, we're going to do a sample instead. So with a sample, it's not the entire population, it's just a small group. Right? It's a subset of the population selected for study in some prescribed manner. This sample has to include a mixture of different groups of the population. If you're going to talk about all Americans, you got to make sure you got everybody that's a different gender, different in this ethnicity, from different states, all different types of backgrounds, to make sure that the sample represents every single body that the population does.